Today on the Correspondent Report, we'll be speaking to the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, Barrister Ebonta, who will be sharing with us what the commission is doing as an anti-corruption agency in the fight against corruption and his achievements so far.
Well, our core mandate is to look at how to reduce incidents of corruption, which is built around primarily abuse of public office for private gain. And we address this on a tripod of investigation and prosecution on one leg. The second leg is system studies. And the third one has to do with public enlightenment and mass mobilization of the citizens against corruption. The first dealing with investigation and enforcement and prosecution, is easy to understand. The last one, which is public enlightenment and mass mobilization against corruption, is also easy to understand, which is what we're doing right now. The second one is a bit more complex. It's under our mandate, it's known as system studies, a preventive mode. What we do there is more or less like quality control. We come into any organization of government and look at how they're running the business and decide, after doing a study, we carry out the study with the members of that organization and map out areas we know can lead to corruption. For example, if you're keeping money in the office all the time instead of banking it, it will not be a surprise to anybody when you come one weekend and the office has been boggled, and then you begin to set up a probe panel. So our mandate there is to look at such systems and correct the systems to prevent corruption happening. And we do that in collaboration with the people who work in those agencies so that they can continue to do this kind of things on their own without us having to come in. But the first mandate, which is investigation and prosecution, we don't need to work with the agencies and their staff. We go in there as an enforcement team, and it's a police action. And if we have whistleblowers, it makes it easier for us. But we have our ways of getting all the information we need. So that, in a nutshell, is the kind of mandates that we are involved in. And mind you, we do this in collaboration with sister agencies and the police, the DSS, and other law enforcement agencies in this country and abroad, because corruption is a transnational problem, not localized. Were you not satisfied with the quantum of the recoveries that had been made there?
Yeah.
So we have two totally different approaches in dealing with issues, same issues. We might not be given to too much of publicity because our own act is very restrictive, that I cannot go to press when I make an arrest. I cannot go to press when I'm doing an investigation. I can only go to press when I have made an arraignment in the court and all the papers have now become public knowledge. And you must also understand that the fight against corruption is not only enforcement. And that's why I took time to explain the tripod approach. The one that has to do with system studies and review. Does not go with newspaper and television razzmatazz. If I am able to prevent an agency taking 1 billion naira into private pockets, you will not even come to interview me, and it will not be mentioned. If it is mentioned at all in any newspaper, it will be on page 45. But if you arrest somebody who has taken 100 million, it makes front page news. But is that how to curb corruption only? And so we must begin to make a distinction between the processes of anti-corruption and corruption reporting. Is that a new accusation? It has always been there, and it will not stop. And it is not restricted to Nigeria. Everywhere in the world, if something doesn't favor you, you have to look for an excuse. If you look at the ICPC Act that set up this place, it says that we are an independent commission and that we take no directives from anybody. And if it says so, why are you accusing some other party of using an independent commission? Like ICPC, for example. I can speak for ICPC. Nobody has used this commission now or in the past that I'm aware of to hound any political enemies, because at the end of the day, ICPC will not arrest, prosecute, and convict you. The function of ICPC is to investigate you, and if there's a reasonable cause, take you to court, and the court will now decide whether it was right or wrong. That's the beauty of the kind of country we work in. The chairman of ICPC or EFCC or any agency of government for that matter cannot send you to jail the moment they take you from their office and dump you in jail. You have to go through the court process. Mark my word, in ICPC, if we are releasing information, we release the name of the officer who is releasing the information. So when you begin to report that a highly placed source said or revealed, no, it's not from us. They are scoring cheap points. And sometimes they do this deliberately to see if they can get a reaction, an official reaction. And my attitude has always been, I would not give credence to what does not even exist. If you have noticed the style of play here, quite a number of things that have been written, we simply look at it. When it's time to release the real facts, we release the facts. You don't stampede us to release facts. I've heard all the stories of somebody coming, why don't you also arrest people? So that people will see that you are working. And I ask you a very simple question. Can I start by arresting you? Thank you. You're even going to one area that we have established our reputation on. Way back in 2007, we had, in collaboration with the Nigerian Educational Research Commission, NERC, I think it's based in Minna, drawn up what is known as a National Values Curriculum and embedded ethics and civics on anti-corruption matters in primary school and secondary school curricula, different subject matters, and it's published. It's something that we're very proud of. And in 2012, I launched the Teacher's Guide on how to teach those subject matters, and we have those publications, which is now being adopted in other parts of the world. We don't praise ourselves in Nigeria. We're only looking at reporting corruption. And reporting corruption does not improve corruption. What we should be looking at is how do we prevent, how do we report anti-corruption, things that benefit us, that will help us prevent. I don't know if you will get exactly what I'm saying if I don't use specific examples. You wake up every morning and you hear on the radio from the police, the following robberies have taken place, the following robberies have taken place, the following robberies. After a while, you get that as if it's normal news. Whereas if you wake up and the police is saying, before you go to bed in the night, please check that your windows are properly secured, that your front door is secured, and that your security lightings are all working. And if you are in areas where you don't have public power supply all the time, could you invest in alternate power sources like inverters? Or if you have neighbors that have generators, can you go into partnerships with them and say, okay, can we buy diesel? And then the generator you're having can power 4 or 5 homes. Why are you using it alone? And the person would see it's cheaper for us to share. Those are the kind of things that we want to hear, than all the time saying things that do not move you one step forward. If I am to, I've gone to several universities, like you have asked, to interact with the youth. And I give them my telephone number, I give them my direct email. The first place I went to, University of Benin, 3 years ago. Within 1 month, I had 300 emails telling me the problems that they were facing. And we were able to reduce all these problems to action plans and communicate with the Vice Chancellor of that university then. And the man went out of his way to address quite a number of those issues. And that we've done with the University of Ibadan, we've done with Calabar, and lastly I've just done it with Federal University Lafia. I've been invited by ABU. So these are strong issues that we're getting involved to capture the youth. ICPC every year is involved with the NYC members and their camp on anti-corruption before they go into the workforce of the nation. And we give them packages, and I have been also asking corporate bodies to promote competition in IT. The best apps in solving, say, corruption issues by young students in the universities. They think it might not be popular. What is popular is that if you do dancing competition, Miss Nigeria, Mr. Nigeria competition, you find no space on campus. Everybody is hustling to get involved in that. Or singing competition. Now let's look at Jumia, for example, or the other one where you can order online. It was developed by young Nigerians and it's working perfectly well. They're selling goods internationally now. Why don't you extend that into agricultural commodities? You are saying maybe in Maiduguri, and you have a large farm dealing with tomatoes, and there are people all over the country looking for tomatoes. Somebody can go and use an application online, which you can immediately Google and say, I have social supplies, can I have this? And there's a ready market, there are customers. You link yourself up I'm very impressed with the young persons who designed the traffic monitor in Lagos. There's an application that I have watched which shows you live traffic in Lagos. It's privately run. So if you're in Lagos and you have that in your car, you know what streets to get into. And if they have an understanding that you take money for that, that is the kind of money I would readily pay for. Than for me to go and every time you talk to me and say, oh, Lagos traffic is impossible, Lagos traffic is impossible. So what have you done about it? It's the same issue with corruption. We talk too much about corruption. We are not talking about what do I have on the table to help me prevent this. And I'm happy to say that with the interactions I've been having with the states, they are beginning to buy into the anti-corruption mandate now. They are the ones now going out to say, look, we want to do verification of staff and have an electronic platform like the federal has had, the integrated personnel payroll information system. And some states that have done it have discovered that they've been paying people who should not be on their list. And yet the same states have not been able to pay salaries, which means that the salaries have been going to the wrong characters. And that's the whole essence of anti-corruption. It's not for me to come and celebrate that I arrested 150 culprits in X state for padding salaries. Yeah, it's good. You must arrest them if the ability is there to arrest them. But I'll feel prouder if I say I have instituted an electronic platform in this state, not even one person can get onto the payroll without our knowing, which is better.
That's all we can take in today's correspondent report. LM Chukwemeka in Abuja.